It's Wednesday, February 15th, 2012. I'm Rim, and this is Geeknights. Tonight, we bring you the stunning conclusion of our reviews of every single one of the DC New 52.
Let's do this.
So, All-Star Western 1, basically Batman.
Well, let me give you a little information here, right? So, you get this Jonah Hex situation going on,
Yep.
right? And I was reading the Jonah Hex. Did we do an episode on it at some point?
I don't know if we did or not.
But basically, this is written by, it's got Jonah Hex in it, at least half of it, right? And it's written by the same guys, the same team that did that Jonah Hex that's been going on for a while. So here you go. It's basically the continuation of Jonah Hex, which has always been sort of episodic and such. So
Yeah.
that's kind of nice.
I actually surprisingly enjoyed seeing, Cowboy Time era Gotham. Like, I like that whole aspect of, seeing the old families and all this stuff kind of together. But at the same time, the actual plot, as was revealed, was a little too forced and cliche.
Yeah.
Moved a little too quickly, I think.
Yeah. The thing I wrote, here's my 3 notes that I wrote, right? First of all, right, I agreed with you entirely. Jonah Hex that I read in those Jonah Hex books was a different character. Even though this Jonah Hex, it's the same person on paper.
He is way too not an asshole.
I wrote Jonah Hex is basically just old-timey Batman here.
Yep, that's what I was saying. This was Batman.
Right. Number 2, I think the Doctor did it. And number 3, this is a mystery, not a Western. Even though it takes place in Western times and is drawn like a Western and everything looks Western, this is a mystery story. You know, the same way the Star Trek is not sci-fi, it's a soap opera.
Mystery story, so 2 counts of Batman.
Right, exactly.
And it's in Gotham.
Yup.
Huh.
And that's the thing, though, is the Batman comics weren't actually mysteries. Detective Comics wasn't a detective story. But All-Star Western isn't a Western. It's the mystery that Detective Comics should have been. So does this mean that I have to read All-Star Horror to get the Western story?
That would be a comedy.
But yeah, but as it wasn't a bad mystery, I guess. I also,
I kind of liked it. It was a high meh.
Yeah.
It's just that wasn't Jonah Hex.
No, it wasn't.
Jonah Hex would not have suffered most of those people to live.
This is the thing. I've mentioned it 100 times. Hopefully this will be the last time I mention it. But it's you have a character. A character has a personality. There's something about that character, right? And I mean, it's what's Mario like? If I mention Mario, you know what Mario is like.
He's a fat plumber named Lou Albano.
Right. I can make a story, draw Mario in it, call him Mario, but he could act like, a princess instead of being the plumber. And he could be like, save me.
Pretty princess.
He wouldn't even have the accent, right? And it's well, you drew Mario and you called him Mario. But that's not Mario. And that's what goes on in these DC comics is they draw a character.
Well, Batman
it looks
is
like
the worst
character.
example.
They name it that character, doesn't act like that character, acts like someone else in every different book.
The Batman in Justice League he's nothing like any other
Justice
Batman
League
anywhere.
International Batman is the Super Friends Batman.
That
right?
Batman was the same. I don't even want to. We already talked about how
All right,
bad
so let's
that was.
move on.
I liked Aquaman. I was surprised.
I was going into this and I was saying, well, it's Aquaman. Everyone makes fun of Aquaman. It's written by Jeff Johns, the guy we hate, who wrote the Green Lantern Rebirth, who, does all the most fanboyish stuff. But you read this and you're like, okay, how is, people have tried to do Aquaman for years and everyone has failed. What is this guy going to do Aquaman? He's starting fresh.
Well, let's see. The plot involves the ocean.
It does. That's good. That's a good start. Keeping
He's-
Aquaman in the ocean, not in the Justice League satellite dish, whatever.
And he's got
Space
a personality.
station. He does, and I don't know what Aquaman's personality is. I'm willing to bet that this is not the personality Aquaman has had in the past.
But I like this one.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of old Aquaman, bearded Aquaman and all sorts of shit, right? Pretty sure this is not anything like those ones. But maybe that's good because those other Aquamans suck.
Yeah, well, Scott, while the Jonah Hex in All-Star Western was not a real Jonah Hex, that's the one I'd rather hang out with in a bar if I had to choose.
That's right. This Aquaman is kind of an awesome dude.
Because he's kind of a dick.
He's sort of Rainbow Dash-ish.
Which isn't that what we also liked about Superman in Action Comics 1?
Yeah,
Kind of a dick.
exactly. Man, it's sort of the same kind of guy.
A little bit of Rainbow Dash, a little bit of Astro Boy, all mixed into one.
And then it was pretty awesome when like he just gives the waitress the 2 undersea golden coins.
She was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? He's like, send your kids to college?
Yeah, and she's just like, holy shit, fucking Aquaman.
I love how they go right in and have the nerd be like, how's it feel to be everyone's least favorite superhero, and how Aquaman just punks the kid.
Yeah.
I like this one. I want to read the trade when it comes out.
Yeah, I actually realized I put it as good. I mean, it's like the exact opposite. I bet, you know what? I bet the fanboys probably hated this Aquaman.
They had to have.
Maybe. Who knows? But yeah, I think it's just something about jerk characters that I just personally like.
It has to be a certain kind of jerk, though.
Yeah, that certain kind of jerk. I like it no matter what. So, who knows if this is actually good, but it's Scott Rubin's alley.
So, speaking of Batman, there's another Batman here.
How many Batmans are there going to be?
I forget which one this is.
This is Batman: The Dark Knight.
What was this the one with the Joker cutting his face off?
No, that was Detective Comics,
Oh my
right?
god, I don't even remember then. Which one was this? What happens?
I barely remember. Let me look at my notes about it.
My note just says it's Batman. I didn't write anything else.
Oh, right. This is the one with one face.
Oh, all right. I remember. This one had way too much supervillain bullshit, and it felt way more like supervillain and way less Batman is just a person.
Yeah. My notes were not even one clever thing. I don't know what that was meaning. All over the place. Okay.
Yeah,
and
the plot didn't make any sense.
Here's the other thing. I wrote that it wasn't related to the other Batman books at all, which is good and bad, right? It's good on the one hand that, well, you can read it on its own, but it's sort of bad in that, it's like they set the expectation that there's some mixing with the other books, and then when one of the books doesn't mix, it's like, well, now this one doesn't even fit.
Well, more importantly, why
like
are you
like the one where Batman showed up in Africa, it doesn't fit.
Yeah, so if you've got 3 like straight up Batman comics, and they're all different, and they don't line up, and they're all kind of uninspired. It's the fact that I couldn't remember which one was which actually is very telling of my opinion.
Yeah, I was able to remember that Aquaman was an awesome jerk.
And I like Detective Comics the most of the Batman.
Yep. This one was sort of structured, though, as sort of the same way as like the start of a Batman movie where you have the Bruce Wayne part where he's getting all businessy.
But I hate the Batman movies.
And then you'll have that, Batman fights all the villains part after that, right? And that was sort of the way it went.
I hate Batman fighting a villain, like straight up. I like all the other stuff about Batman. The villain part is just the vehicle for my Batman enjoyment. Yeah. If you actually think I care about the villain part, then you don't understand why I like Batman.
Well, if you like those Batman video games,
you'd probably love
this because he just walks around punching and kicking all the bad guys in Arkham. So yeah.
So Blackhawks.
I put that as bad.
Yeah, I put it as bad too.
Okay.
Well, I didn't put it as bad, but since I don't remember it, it had to have been bad.
Right. So here you go.
Blackhawks, I have one note. Why is the logo of their secret organization on the side of their...
Are you reading my fucking notes?
Because the fact that it was there didn't bother me. The fact that the guy took a picture of it was funny. The fact that is the plot is crazy bullshit.
You don't see the fucking Navy SEALs walking around with the word Navy SEALs on the side of a truck driving around the city.
And if the Blackhawks are this like crazy ultra elite organization, seriously, that's your plot?
They have a logo that everyone knows that they slap all over their bodies and all over everything they own, and it's bright yellow and everyone can see it.
That pissed me off enough to hate it already, but they had too much.
Also, this is yet another, I should count how many of these books were secret government or corporate organization with an acronym sort of ish name goes and fights some generic terrorist group of some kind.
But also way too much.
Some paramilitary organization does something.
It was very clumsily, the whole thing about she was bitten and the nanocytes were in her was so clumsily set up that I actually didn't expect it because it seemed too obvious and cliche.
Yeah. I think that there's some. I get the feeling that someone's done some sort of like focus group study that's like, it's like, well, if we add a sidekick, then the sales go up. Is that kind of information they use? And someone sort of figured out like, well, books about paramilitary organizations fighting bad guys in such and such a format get great ratings. So let's make like 7 comics about
Scott,
that.
What
and
is
10
Ghost
TV
in the Shell
shows.
standalone complex but a paramilitary organization fighting bad guys with awesome technology and equipment, secretly funded by the government with acronyms?
That's correct, but they
Why do I
add an extra layer on top of that, which is it's actually procedural police detectiving, sort of.
Except it isn't, because they replace all the procedural police stuff with
it's also
proper noun gobbledygook bullshit.
It's also actually real sci-fi. At least Ghost in the Shell is actually real sci-fi. Reals, like, for serious.
Realsies.
But this, at least, is not. This is just government organization fight some guys.
Had it not been so clumsily done, and had the picture of their logo not been the plot, then I would have said meh, but I have to say bad because I really didn't like it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing, whatever. I actually like some of the equipment they had, because you see all these people get special equipment. Like, this guy's got really cool sunglasses. I kind of want those.
They're not as good as the Deus Ex sunglasses.
Okay.
Those are the best sunglasses ever.
But yeah, Blackhawks, I put bad.
So the Flash...
he's the fastest dude.
Yeah. I'm surprised that I needed to know more about the Flash than I did. Either that or it just was a poorly told story.
Right, so here's the thing. I actually, first of all, the Flash is one of the main dudes, right? And I was actually surprised the Flash was not in any of the other 51 books.
Yeah.
He was only in this one, so good job on that. 2, I actually kind of like these arts, right?
I also like the
sort
art.
of faded out grayish look with almost like, I don't know if that's sort of watercolory-ish. I don't know. I don't know much about arts, but I sort of liked, just it was fun. It was pleasant to look at because the contrast wasn't so high, but it was still colorful. And I don't know if that was accidental, but I hope it wasn't because it was pretty cool. But here's the thing that really bothered me, which I've mentioned sort of already, which is how come you can the bad guys even have time to say anything, right? It's the Flash. The bad guys wouldn't even be able to say one word, and then the Flash just, even if he was going to stop and take care of them, they would just be knocked out instantly.
Also,
just punch him in the face really fast, and they don't talk, ever.
The Flash,
so how come this scenes where the Flash is talking with a guy and sort of fighting with him? Those scenes cannot happen. He's the Flash. He's so fast. You would not see him. The bad guy would not even be able to see him to start a fight with him. It would just be over before the bad guy even knew the Flash was there.
Also, every time the Flash needs to appear, he runs away at his slow-ass speed and then turns to the Flash and comes back. No one notices. That's even worse than Superman.
That's even worse than Superman in, the phone booth, whatever. Yep. But yeah, it's the Flash. I also wrote Jinro armor. Was there Jinro armor in here for some reason? I'm trying to find it. Maybe that was it. I wrote it under the wrong.
Remember?
Did I write it under the wrong comic? I wrote Jinro.
Yeah. The soldiers that he was fighting in the beginning. He killed the guy by throwing him into the wall or into the building. And then the guy ended up being a clone of his old friend, and there's a million of them, and I didn't care anymore.
Oh, yeah, like right in the beginning, all these dudes are wearing sort of Jinro-ish armor. I really like this page, though, the title page. It's like, man, the arts is really good on that shit.
Mostly, honestly, the only thing I didn't like about it was that the story seemed really kind of boring.
Yeah, there wasn't any, if I was doing a story about the Flash, I would make it all about like, the Flash having like all these mental problems because like he just goes so fast and he sees so many things and his brain isn't any better, right?
Maybe it is faster.
So it's just like he's traveling around the world and he gets disoriented and sort of fucked up, and he's like, maybe he could even be leading like 5 lives simultaneously, but he could run back and forth between the different lives so quickly that it's instantaneous that if you were having a conversation with one of them, you wouldn't even notice that he was leaving because he'd be there, for like 1/5 of every nanosecond. I would do shit like that and make it some crazy story.
Well, the Flash runs into the problem of his power is such that you have to be really clever or really like kind of narrow path to make any challenge that would fit that he wouldn't just solve immediately.
Yep. All right.
Yeah. Meh.
Yeah. All right.
Meh.
So Firestorm. Well, the Fury of Firestorm. The Nuclear Man.
I didn't get that it was only 2 guys, and not 3, and that it was the 2 combined into one until I read Wikipedia because I couldn't figure out what was going on.
I only knew it because I had heard about Firestorm in the past from other people.
I
And I
read
knew
this,
that it was two guys.
It didn't make sense. I read Wikipedia. Now it makes sense. This was just awful.
It was
It was like
awful.
everything I hate about comics condensed
Yeah.
with forced like high school drama, and then obviously like
All the
two-
fake sciencey talk as usual.
Yep.
You know, yeah, what else is there to say?
And how did that girl survive? Get the blow up? And I didn't care. This was terrible.
Yeah, and it's like it could be the key to all human knowledge, really. That's what Firestorm is dealing with, the key to all human knowledge. What's Superman dealing with? Right? I mean, really? There's something that's dealing with the key to all human knowledge. Is that important? And Firestorm is the guy who's dealing with that?
Yeah.
Not the Justice League, not the Green Lanterns, not someone more important. Okay.
So
Yeah,
bad.
I put bad.
So Green Lantern.
New Guardians. So these are like young Green Lanterns, I guess, right? Something like that. They're new Green Lanterns. They're not the other ones.
I thought this was the one where all the rings disappear. Wasn't that that was the previous one, wasn't it? Green Lantern Corps. See, I mix them all up again because I didn't like any of them.
No, this is the one where all the rings fly away.
Okay, that's the one I thought we were talking about with Green Lantern Corps.
No, this is the one where the rings fly
Oh,
away.
Green Lantern Corps. I remember which one that was. I didn't like it either, but
No
for
kidding.
different reasons.
Right, so
This is the one that didn't make sense because all the colors, how would you know? What can I say? It was terrible. Unless you really like Green Lantern and you know all about it.
All right, so I wrote cute elder guy because of this panel. The guy's got like the eyeball.
He's got a good look.
Yeah, he's got this look. I also
How
wrote,
come the
I also wrote Mary Sue because this character is a comic artist in the comic book, right?
Yep. So also,
Uh,
how come the pink lanterns, I guess, are all girls?
Yeah.
Like why?
Hot
really?
one and hot ones, right?
Yeah, why? In space.
You know, and then here's the other thing: is this one more so than any of the other books I've read? Right? And we've read all 52 of them. More so than any of them, this felt like pretty much a direct continuation of a previous book. Right? It's like some of the other ones they sort of started.
Oh, because Red Lanterns had some of the characters in it too.
Right, but it's like some of the other ones, like they tried to start fresh and they brought a few things in that were obviously you had to know. This felt like they weren't even trying to start fresh. It was just direct continuation of something that already happened, without starting any newness whatsoever.
Yeah, it's like season 2.
Yeah, and whatever.
Every Green Lantern was bad, in my opinion.
Yep. And then it's sort of like this rings all flying away thing was just like this excuse to get these bunch of different lanterns all in the same place
in
for
all
no
media,
reason.
I no longer.
That's worse than the D&D using an in to get the characters together.
I no longer ever want to see a plot that ends with a big misunderstanding that a bunch of people just have to stop and talk about because I hate watching that. I hate seeing it. I hate anticipating it. One of the best things you can do to get me interested in media is to set that up and then not do it.
Exactly.
Like, not to bring up ponies, that episode with Rarity and Canterlot.
I'll use a non-pony example.
All right.
Right? Is Kenshiro meets, what's his face? The blind guy.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And he thinks he's a bad guy. And so Kenshiro has a misunderstanding and he's sort of fighting him. But then Kenshiro realizes the guy isn't fighting to kill. And he's like, oh, you're actually a good guy.
They didn't make it this long drawn out.
They didn't make it this long drawn out thing of I must fight you. Oh, we were good guys the whole time.
You know what it is? If I, as the viewer, figure it out and the characters don't figure it out for the majority of a scene or show, then I really get pissed off.
If it's obvious.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, bad.
So
I Vampire.
I'm assuming that these characters have all this history that I don't know about.
Something like that.
As far as I can tell, the plot is Weepy Vampire wants to kill all humans.
Yeah. So the art, I got to give the art credit for being different from other art.
Yeah, but it reminded me so much of every White Wolf story ever.
I did not like this art, though, even though I give him credit for being different from the other superhero comics, but I is not a fan. Pretty much everything was 2 colors, gray and different gray and black, and that's it.
And I don't know, the plot was just like some White Wolf. I don't know if that's the plot of whoever these characters are. I don't know their names, even having read this.
Also, dude, vampires, this is in the DC universe, right? Right?
I guess.
There's no way any vampire, even Dracula, is going to do anything in a universe
with Superman, the Green Lanterns.
Right. If there's actually vampires and they're actually trying to bite everyone, Like I said,
What about Frankenstein, Agent of Shade, though?
Superman would just punch them all in the head, and that would be it. And, you toss vampires into the vacuum of space.
Well, speaking of which, because you know
That's
what?
it.
I think we can just say bad, move on, because Justice League Dark had the same problem, but they got around it by saying that magic
first
is
did
more
you put vampires
bad.
Bad? Okay. So I didn't think it was 100% bad. I gave it points for doing different arts.
Yeah, but I just didn't like the story.
Oh, okay. So Justice League Dark, right? So what you got here is they've actually taken a bunch of characters from Vertigo comics, right? So you got, like Madame Xanadu's in here, right? And,
I don't know who any of those characters are.
John Constantine, I think, is in here.
Other than him, because there was a movie.
Right, I think.
Yeah, he's in there.
He's in there, right? So it's like, they sort of brought in these magical characters all together to make sort of a magic wizardy, dark wizard Justice League.
Yeah, but
right.
One,
the art is kind of colorful and nice.
The fact that they had to do this whole thing of showing you, look, Superman can't deal with this.
Yeah.
They almost died.
Yeah, it's the typical thing where it's like, oh, there's something that only magicians can handle.
Yeah, but or the Green Lantern Corps, I guess, could come down and fix this.
That's for sure.
But two, what bothered me is that they had like all these paranormal events all happening at the same time. One, they all, I guess, are caused by this witch in the envelope.
Yeah,
and
something
two,
like that.
They really had too many of those things.
Yep.
They went through so many, like, a cow gave birth to a meat slicing machine. One of the farmers who saw it shot himself. There's like 10 of those.
Yeah. Also, why did the real superhero show up? It's like, really? It's like you got to bring the regular Justice League and the Justice
being
League.
torn apart by those teeth, and they cut away, and then all you get is
that was actually very Madoka-esque witch kind of scene.
It was,
but it's didn't make
but
the
then
story
you
any better.
You get this one-liner later where someone's like, "Yes, Superman and them almost didn't survive," and that's it. That's all you get.
Yeah. Also, I was disappointed yet again. Every time I see Superman, I'm looking for
Action Comics
the Action Comics jumping Superman, and you're getting the flying Superman. I'm like,
But even calling it Justice League Dark, I mean, really?
Yeah.
You're calling it that? It's like I'm doing Green Arrow and Green Arrow Dark.
It's like
it's gonna be the same, but
why
all,
couldn't
like,
you just call it
brooding.
like magic something? I don't know. Come up with a new name for it.
I don't know. It seems so forced and simultaneously kind of bad.
What are you giving it, meh or bad?
I'm giving it bad.
I give it low meh.
I don't know who any of those characters are, for one.
Yeah, I guess because I knew some of them. That's sort of and the
two,
art was so good.
The supernatural aspect was so forced. And
it
three,
was super forced.
am I supposed to know who that witch is?
Yeah.
So, all right, it doesn't tell you who it is.
No.
So thanks, comic book. Thanks for giving me nothing.
All right, so Savage Hawkman. I don't know why. I've seen
Why is this a comic?
Well, I don't know what the deal is with Hawkman. Like, I see Hawkman all over the place.
Is Savage Hawkman different from Hawkman?
No, he's just...
This already started with him, like throwing away the Hawkman suit that I guess was his.
Yeah, like, I don't get Hawkman. He's a dude who has a weird suit with wings and a mace.
It's made out of the metal.
But isn't he like an alien or something, Hawkman?
No, the metal is alien. The metal.
So Hawkman's a regular dude. He's
a regular
alien.
dude as far as I can guess.
I thought he was from some other planet. Like,
so Scott, I am basing all of my cosmology of the Savage Hawkman on this one comic I read. And in this comic, there is a man, normal dude, who was the Hawkman because he had a suit made out of the metal. And when he burned the metal suit, it exploded and turned him again into the Hawkman.
So the art, at least in the beginning part, was way awesome, especially the dude being set on fire.
Oh, the art was great.
Oh man, it was just like a lot of these books. It's like, wow, they actually brought out some pretty good artists. I wonder if the fanboys like these arts as much as I like them. Here's another question. So there's this archaeologist going on here, right? And they're trying to dig up some alien shit.
Yep.
Why are there archaeologists in a world with Superman? Who can X-ray vision the whole world
and
can just fly out into outer space and find out anything you have to know about alien history.
Why? Yeah.
Archaeology is completely unnecessary in a world with superheroes who can go into space and fly faster than the speed of light.
Well, only in a world where there is also a long history of epic space battles. I mean, we know from one of the Green Lanterns, no, not from Green Lantern, from Blue Beetle, that when the Mayans were around, that one Green Lantern guy was out there doing the Green Lantern bullshit.
Yeah, but the point is, archaeology is obsolete in a world of superheroes.
No, you have archaeological experts who tell the superheroes what to do.
You just have superheroes who've already done all the archaeology in about 2 days, and then the other guys would just be studying, all the stuff that was 100% dug up and discovered.
Yeah, but that aside, I don't have any motivation to care about the Hawkman.
Don't care about the Hawkman at all.
And because clearly the comic book decided that it didn't need to tell me anything that was going on, I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah. This also reminded me of Independence Day, where they got that cocoon there, and it's sort of like the peace, no peace kind of situation.
Glass bulletproof?
Yeah. This is
See that Kyle's humor where the guy's like, yes, it is, and then they shoot anyway, and then they get hit with the ricochet. He's like, what the fuck? I said it was bulletproof.
Bulletproof glass doesn't ricochet, though. The bullets just get stuck in it, right?
I know. Yeah.
Anyway, and then also, this is one of those cases of I hate you, little guy.
Yeah, there was a lot of that going on.
Always minus points, but you get mad because your arts are awesome. What are you going to give it?
I don't know. I got to give it like a meh minus.
Meh minus? Okay.
Because, like you said, the art is really good, but the story, I don't know anything about the Hawkman, so it makes no sense. I wonder if it would be slightly better if I knew, but I pretended, like, what if I knew what all these things were? The story still wasn't that compelling.
No. All right, so regular old Superman.
Wasn't Action Comics Superman, would not buy from again.
That's pretty much what I got.
It wasn't the Superman I want.
So, first of all, it's like the Daily Planet is bigger than the New York Times. Does the internet exist in this world, right? It's like, are you kidding me? It's like, how is the Daily Planet...
And how come I guess they feel like the only way to keep Superman fresh is to make the Daily Planet start to turn into a rag?
Yeah, it's like, obviously they were trying to make this social commentary, but you failed because you were too overt and not subtle at all.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, why didn't, Superman just save the old globe instead of just letting it fall? Like,
yeah,
he could have just taken it and put it in a museum. He's Superman.
Or you know what? He could have
just
taken it and put it in space in an orbit and left it there until someone asked for him to give it to them to do something with it.
Yeah.
And then he could have gone out and got it and brought it back.
If there's a thing you care about and you're Superman, no one can fuck it up for you.
This Superman just had no personality. Action Comics Superman has personality. Where is that guy?
Yeah. Oh, the thing that bothered me the most of the whole book.
The most.
I don't know if you remember this, right? Is if you go to, what page was this fucking thing on? Right? Oh, God, I'm going to find it.
I'm wondering if I'm thinking the same thing, but I don't want to say anything until you show me the page.
Yeah.
All right, so what?
So there's this random page in the middle that has nothing to do with anything.
The guy blowing the horn!
It's just like you're reading this book and this stuff, Superman stuff happening. Then there's a page, and there's a crazy alien blowing this weird ass fucking horn.
And it has that note. It's like, want to know more about this mystery?
The note says, for more on this mystery, see Stormwatch #1. And then it just goes back to Superman. That horn blowing has nothing to do with anything else in any page in this book. It is a random page of an alien blowing a horn.
It's not a mystery anymore if I read that other comic.
Yeah, it's like, we had Stormwatch #1. I read it already, didn't we?
I don't remember that in Stormwatch.
I don't know what the fuck this alien blowing a horn has to do with Stormwatch. I mean, maybe I'll go back and check it out, but why did you... It's like they took a page out of Stormwatch, ripped it out, and just shoved it in a Superman book just randomly in the middle for no reason.
Probably to get you to read Stormwatch. I know the plots are going to collide, but again...
Clearly.
DC, why you do this? This is what I hate about comics.
Why you do... And there's more subtle ways you could have done it. It's like maybe not even have the Stormwatch comic and then maybe sort of, introduce a plot where Stormwatch, has to deal with Superman somehow and then sort of bring it around back. Right? I don't know.
There's a lot of ways they could have done it, but the only thing I like about Superman right now is either the Superman in Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns or the Action Comics Superman. If this is neither, I don't care. And it heaped insults upon those already weak foundations. I give it a bad.
I would have given it meh, but that horn page brings it down into bad territory.
So, not to bring in stuff I know about, other stuff, but Teen Titans, that's not the Teen Titans. Who are these people?
I don't know much about Teen Titans at all, really.
I know there was the mediocre cartoon, and that's all I know. And you know what? This wasn't the same people.
So you've got this Superboy, right? Is he Superboy or is he not? Because isn't
No,
Superboy the
Superboy's
Astro
in-
Boy?
Yes, the Astro Boy in
So
Superboy.
who's this guy?
Fuck if I know.
So he's Super Kid, Super Dude,
I don't know.
other Superboy, Superboy 2, Super whatever. And
Remember,
then
Queen Tits and Ass is supposed to be in the Teen Titans, but she's not. She's in Tits and Ass, the comic
right,
book.
you've got Kid Flash, who I sort of know. That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
You got Robin. Which one of the 4 Robins is this?
I'm pretty sure this is
the
a
one who
fifth
takes
one.
it in the ass, or the one who sucks Batman's dick?
This is like Red Robin or something. It's like yet another Robin.
Is it different? Was he not ever a regular Robin,
I
or
don't
was he
know.
only a Red Robin, or was he a real plain old Robin at some point?
I don't know, and it doesn't tell you. And
Right.
I watched the cartoon a little bit, and it was just Robin and the cyborg guy. I don't know who these people are.
Right. And then you've got Wonder Girl, right? And the weirdest part for me was like Wonder Girl says, Wonder Girl. It's like, what? You say, it's like you don't say your weird name. No one goes around saying their own weird ass
I kind of
nickname.
like the dynamic between the Robin and Wonder Girl. Because she's like, don't call me that. And then he's like, I can block these bullets. You're on your own. She's like, whatever. I got magics. And he's like, well, you got magic. And she's like, shut up.
Oh, no, wait. I think that the Superboy is the Astro Boy Superboy. Because if you look on the final 2 pages.
Oh, yeah.
It's that girl with the orange hair who was cool and then released the Superboy.
I was holding my notes in my hand and actually look. But what I wrote was, oh, Superboy is here. I wonder why. And basically, I was complaining that, yet again, they're mixing all my comics up.
Also, the enemy was an evil acronym organization.
Of course.
And I think at some point someone made a joke about Robin being homeschooled, and I was like, haha, he does act homeschooled. Wait, all these people act homeschooled. I mean, okay, so that Superboy is the Astro Boy Superboy, but it's like, no, wait, why are they releasing the Astro Boy Superboy in a comic that's not the Superboy?
I give it a mad just because it's not as bad as all the things I've said are bad. Like, I didn't like it, but I didn't like particularly dislike it.
I actually gave it bad because there was absolutely not. The other ones that I gave mez, it was like, oh, there was amazing art, but there was nothing doing. Right? This, it was just it was just nothing doing across the
I guess
board.
I
there
kinda-
wasn't one awesome thing to say. There was an awesome thing to push it up into meh.
I guess I kind of enjoyed some of the banter and the dialogue.
Well,
wasn't
yeah,
that
like
bad.
I did comment about the you were homeschooled part. It was a little pretty good, better than others in the dialogue department.
Yeah, I guess.
But still
I,
not good dialogue, just better than the others.
by this point in the slog, it didn't take much to impress me.
It's all relative. All right.
So,
We're finally at the end of our slog.
voodoo,
Voodoo. So
aka
TNA.
not only TNA, but let's have
Teenist Anist.
the majority of this comic take place in a strip club and keep showing all the strippers and play to the stereotype that all the strippers are in fact like working moms and college girls just trying to get by, and that is totally not sleazy. This is like, it's almost like
Yep.
misogyny trying to pretend it's not misogynistic by stereotyping misogyny and then trying to cast it in a good light.
So the art, I thought the art was actually it was cool that they tried to do something different, right? But it looks like a high quality Kamipo.
Yeah, it does.
So it's not actually good, but I give them points for doing something different and minus points for doing a bad job.
The cover
minus
was a little.
points for TNA.
The cover was a little.
The cover doesn't fit.
no.
And then here's the notes that I wrote down. You ready?
Yeah.
Boobs. Nice setup. Boobs.
Nah, it was
I-
all boobs.
All boobs. Nothing
Also,
but boobs.
I did not. The first time I read it, I did not actually catch that it was the same guy. Like I didn't notice that guy was back
Oh, you didn't notice that?
because he was drawn derpily.
Kind
Like his
of.
face went off model.
I didn't notice that much.
Like I didn't notice it was him. I read it again. I was like, oh wait, it's the same guy. I don't know if I just didn't read those last pages the first time I read it. But seriously, they're all strippers. You focus on strippers and sex the whole comic. And you like go out of your way to talk about how all the strippers are totally cool and totally okay with being strippers. And they're just like, working moms trying to get by, trying to make do.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it's the thing is like you're like, oh, it's the same guy. It's because Voodoo turned into the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then
Like
Voodoo also
the
walked
Thing.
away.
I think she's basically just like the Thing.
Yeah.
The Thing from Another World or whatever.
Maybe she's bad at it, so she was off. That was why he was off model. I don't know.
I don't know. I gave it, man.
I gave it bad because I just didn't care.
Yeah. All right. So that concludes this. I hope this helps somebody, even though it's 1,000 years late.
Yeah.
Just sort of summary things.
I think we can sum it up by pointing out that it took us this long to do this, and I was really excited. Like, it's only 52 like single issue comics. I'm gonna read them all with an open mind, and I liked some of them, but it became such a slog. Like, the ones that I didn't like, I would like put to the back of the pile, and then I'd gotten through all the ones I liked, and I had this gigantic pile of comics that I did not want to read.
52 comics. That's a lot of different comics.
I know,
but it's like so many of them were just the same shit.
I mean, all the Green Lanterns blurred together to where I really. The only ones that stood out was there was Green Lantern-y bullshit, and then separate from that, there was Green Lantern-y bullshit where the evil-looking guy is in space brooding.
Yep. See, what I would do if I was them, right, is it's like, okay, obviously if I was them, I would, throw out the whole thing and make a completely new way of doing things. But just to make, if you're going to keep things the way they're doing it, but, just make slight modifications to improve, right? What I would do is all this Batman stuff, you really got to sort it out and have there be just one Batman.
Here's what I would do. I'd have all the different Batmans. I'd make the equivalent of Shonen Jump, but it's just Batman Jump. It's just like...
Well, that's changing the whole world, right?
Yeah,
I'm talking about just the slight change, which is, get rid of all these different Batman comics like Batman Dark, Batman Light, Batman Purple, Batman this, and just make the one comic Batman and release 4 issues every month. Batman 1, 2, 3, 4, and month 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if you have to, make them bigger with more pages, like a 48
or
page.
If you have to, have a second Batman that is no story. Every one-off is a one-off story.
So there's the one-off story, B-Task, and then there's the other one that is Batman.
Hell, just make more B-Tasks in comic form. That style of Batman is my second favorite. Third favorite after the original Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns and Michael Keaton Batman,
also,
which nobody else likes.
Numbers wise, I got to put the spreadsheet out there.
Ooh.
So, most of the comics had 21 pages of content. I counted the cover as content. That you had around, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages of ads, but actually the number of ads went up over the weeks. Like the early weeks had like 4, 5, 6 pages. The later weeks had 7, 8, 9 ad pages.
I wonder if they thought we wouldn't notice.
Well,
and
I think part of it
also
was that they had house ads, right? The house ads are the ads for other DC shit. So the house ads started off as like 10 house ads, 14 pages of house ads, right? And they went down. So they, over these 4 weeks at least of starting, they had more house ads in the beginning, and they replaced them with paid ads as time went on. And yeah, charging $3 for any one of these is a ridiculous amount of money. Think about this. For one of these flimsy-ass things that gives you only 21 pages of story, that's pretty much a disposable thing, you read it once and chuck it, you could get 3 $1 iPhone games that you'll probably play every day on the subway.
3 Angry Birds.
Yeah. You're telling me that this Batman is worth 3 Angry Birds? Are you crazy?
Are you
crazy?
Maybe Animal Man, just because if that was the only way to read it, I kind of want to read it.
Yeah, but
really
it's not
good.
worth that many, And it's like, oh my God, it's unbelievable. And some of these are $4. All-Star Western was a longer book with more pages. It had 29 pages of content. Guess what? $4. It's like, wait, you only added 8 more pages of content, over the 21 that were already in the other ones, and you added a whole extra $1, a 33% price increase for a less than 33% content increase. That is not cool. So the pricing's all fucked up, but everyone knows that.
Yep.
Most of them were bad or mad, but hey, most of everything is crap. But
in our opinion, I mean, I know there are people who love the shit out of all of these.
Well, then if you're the kind of person who loves the shit out of us, you know what we think, and you know that you disagree with us.
So
and
didn't some of
you
these
know that
already
you'll like it?
Didn't some of these already get canceled by the time we finished all this?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly which ones were canceled because
you keep going through your statistics. I'll find out which ones got canceled.
But I think OMAC was canceled and stuff like that.
Oh right, OMAC.
Yeah, that with the Jack Kirby-esque one.
Oh my God,
it was pretty bad. But all in all, there were some good ones. If you throw enough shit against the wall, you're gonna have some golds, right? Animal Man, great. The Action Comics Superman, great. There were some of these comics in here that we kind of liked. Aquaman, right? Totally cool and awesome jerk guy. All-Star Western, kind of okay-ish, right? It's like, not all these comics were absolutely awful. There's some that are worth reading, and I'll probably be paying for the trade, the
Wow,
these soft
there is a
cover-
whole section in the Wikipedia article on the New 52 on accusations of sexism.
How about that?
Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of information here. Doesn't say which ones got canceled.
Did you press Control F and type the word cancel?
Not yet.
Okay, here we go. On January 12, 2012, DC announced that after their 8th issue, so there's going to be 8 issues of the following comics, and then they will all be canceled and replaced
Yep, I see it.
with 6 new titles. So here are the ones that are going away. Blackhawks,
Yep.
which was, we put our logo on our truck. Hawk and Dove,
Which was just...
Rob Liefeld, yeah, sure. Men of War.
You
Wasn't-
like that one.
That was the war one.
Yeah.
So, but at least, but the thing is, there's only 8 issues of it. There'll be one trade and that's it. So it's not even a big commitment.
I'll read the trade.
So you could buy that and then sell it to Book Off or something.
Yeah.
Mr. Terrific.
Okay.
OMAC.
No shock there.
And Static Shock. I'm
Again, no shock there.
So those 6 titles, after their 8th issues, those 6 titles will be canceled, and there are going to be 6 new titles.
So 6 new Batman. No, 5 new Batman and 1 new Green Lanterns.
Should we buy the number 1s of those 6 new ones?
Oh, my God.
Right? It won't be for a while, right? The 8th issues of those ones still have to come out, and then the month after that.
Probably should.
Yeah, it could be like half an episode going over just 6 issues, right? But then I feel like, well, if we're gonna do that, we should be buying Marvel number 1s, right? So I don't want to go, down this huge rabbit hole. So
No,
maybe,
if we're gonna do anything Marvel, you need to watch Wolverine and the X-Men so we can do a show on it.
Sure,
It's really good.
sure.
It is really good.
I got other things to be doing.
I just gotta point out, for all the hate I get for a lot of these comic books, you can do superhero stuff that I'll really like.
It's possible. It's just you just can't do the typical shit. I really like the superhero stuff that gets sort of like existential and weird, or like, you remember I was talking about my idea for the Flash where he sort of has like, mental problems,
Yep.
or you make it real sci-fi. Like for real sci-fi, the way Ghost in the Shell is for real sci-fi.
Oh my God!
Just,
if they got some of the artists,
or like Demon Knight was real fantasy, right?
Scott, take the
sort of
artists
Slayers-ish.
who did this stuff, like the good ones, and make a Ghost in the Shell like color comic.
Yeah,
That isn't just
Ghost in the Shell 2.
Yeah, that isn't just
interface.
Ghost in the Shell 2.
Right. Or you could do none of these were comedies. Have you noticed that?
Wait, Wikipedia. All right, so Keith Phillips and other 2 people who were talking about the sexism stuff agreed with the observations on Catwoman and Red Hood and the Outlaws.
Mm-hmm.
Quote, but opined that Voodoo was a positive example of how to incorporate a female character's sexuality as a relevant aspect of the story without appearing exploitative. Oh my God, who said that? Who said that? The Comics Alliance and, I don't know, Keith Phillips and, anyway.
I don't know.
Really? You could say that with a straight face?
I guess the guy believes it.
No.
Yeah. I mean, if you tried to go argue that in some forum, there'd be a flame war. What are you going to do?
Yeah?
Whatever. This is why you have a podcast. No replies.
This has been Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geeknights is not 1, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.